doesn't even feel like the movie cares very much about being scary at all. In fact, the film spends most of its time with this super drab tone. I think it assumes I would find this stuff serious and I'd be thrilled. But no, I was really disappointed by the jump scares with the marionette and Foxy, both just looking like someone threw them at the camera. I've been seeing two contradictory defenses of this argument here, both of which are dumb considering what movie they're talking about. The first being, well, of course it doesn't look like the games, of course it's stiff, it's a robot, what do you expect when it's all practical? You want it to be CG or something? No, fucking asshole. Then when you say the movie is ridiculous and nothing makes sense, well, it's a campy fun horror movie about killer robots, what do you expect? You really wanted it to be realistic? I'm aware these are not the same people making this point, but it only drives home for me that a lot of people don't really know what these movies are going for. And I don't think Jason Blum knows either. This is the man who followed up the hit horror flick about a robot killer girl by turning her into an action hero who makes Marvel clips and goes through car chases. Then he releases that. I think his vision shifts depending on what he thinks will make the most money at the time. Doesn't always pan out. And with Five Nights at Freddy's, I think Blumhouse don't know whether these movies are spooky, nostalgic films preying on the depravities of child murder with a hint of spirituality, or silly movies where Megan Fox plays our main villain filled with YouTuber cameos and lines of dialogue pointing out how dumb the rules of these games work. Wait a second, you're telling me in Five Nights at Freddy's 2, there's no door? Who designed this room? A stupid person? Also, that was not a joke, by the way. Toy Chica has more screen time in this movie than any other animatronic. I seriously wonder how those not familiar with the games feel when they go to see a movie called Five Nights at Freddy's, only to be met with Chica goes to the science fair. They try to play it both ways, and because of that, I don't think these movies will ever widely appeal to anyone other than diehard fans of the franchise who just want to see Freddy on the big screen, which, valid and all. But I could only leave this film dreading the next one. Well, that is after I stopped laughing at the ridiculous Avengers-style ending where all the original animatronics come in and kill the toy ones, and our big happy ending is Mike telling Vanessa to fuck off. But FNAF 3 is easily my favorite game in the series, visually at least, and I just don't have confidence in them replicating that. I'm already not that big on how Springtrap himself is looking if that after-credit scene was anything to go by, although I think that's more so an unfortunate consequence of Scott Cawthon's scuffed texturing. The textures in the game not matching the actual fabric you would expect to be used on a costume like this, but alas, I guess we'll wait and see. This movie is projecting to make only half of what the first one did, but that's the joys of Blumhouse. This movie could do just okay and Jason Blum would still be making a hefty profit with his infamously cheap budgets. A third one's guaranteed. I just could not even pretend to be nice with Five Nights at Freddy's 2. With my initial review of the first one, I left hopeful that things would improve. But those dreams have since been shattered, and so I'm left with only one real option. Continue watching the following 4 or 5 of these they're gonna make every single year, except that they're all gonna be at best just fine, and wait 20 years until they reboot it again. Although I don't know, the prospect of being 45 and watching the Five Nights at Freddy's movie seems scarier than anything actually in them.